welcoming people back to anything like I normally am. I don't even remember how I started my first one. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of the Date Night podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben.
And I am Tori, his wife.
And this is, as I said, the Date Night podcast, which may be somewhat of a misleading title because it's not necessarily about dating.
No.
It's not even necessarily all about relationships.
No.
It's really just a podcast. So we're very busy people, as most of you listening probably are, right? We have kids and we have jobs and other obligations and responsibilities, and it's hard to make that time to actually stay in touch, right, as a married couple.
To sit down and talk about what happened that day or what's going on in the world around us, anything really.
Right, to try to feel like more than just roommates sometimes,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So this is, and everybody, we've heard, where the name comes from, is that everybody really, they always talk about how successful marriages, or in a marriage or relationship, you need to take time and remember to have date night, right? You always hear about the importance of date night. And that's kind of where the name of this comes from, because when most people think about dates, they probably don't think about podcasting. Or just sitting here.
No, normally it's going out to the movies or dinner.
Right. You have dinner and a show, and then that's a conventional thought of a date. But really a date is just a time to connect and interact and keep your bond and relationship strong. And that's a big part of the origin or the name of this podcast. But really, like I said, we're not going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about our lives, good stuff, bad stuff, what we experience. We'll talk about what's going on in the world. Probably nothing too terribly crazy, right? We won't get into conspiracies or a lot of politics or anything, but we'll talk about any kind of current event, like the latest TikTok trends is probably one that we may cover.
We'll play games sometimes and do some questions, answers.
Right. Usually you need questions to do answers. But,
no, you can't play that.
No, you can't play questions and answers. Truth or dare?
No. Cut that.
I'll cut nothing. But I guess in order for all this to make sense, some of you listening, especially because of the nature of what Tori and I do for our livings, we already have fairly sizable following, so a good number of you hopefully possibly came from our Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. But for this to make sense to most people, you probably at least need to know a little bit more about who we are.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So like I said at the top, my name is Ben. I go by individually, I go by Primal Bro on Instagram, and I have this whole brand that I've established. I actually have my own podcast that I do, which is nothing like this one. This is very different. But I, in a sense, am part of the fitness and weight loss industry. I coach people to lose their own weight. Like I said, I do my own podcast. I train jiu-jitsu. I'm there
every day.
Entirely too much, right?
Every single day.
But look, that wouldn't be possible without having a strong partner, and having a strong partner is also part of the date night thing, so we're kind of going to bring it full circle. And speaking of partners, that's a little bit about me, but speaking of partners, why don't you tell them a little bit about you?
So my name's Tori. I am his wife, and I run two businesses. I had to think about that.
My wife.
Yeah. I own a photography business, and I mainly photograph newborns, and they can't talk back, and they're just sweet. And then I also sell shampoo. It's become my main gig now. And then we have 3 kids that I homeschool mainly on my own. He's there for, math advice and
supplemental.
Yeah.
More of a tutor than a teacher.
Basically, yeah. And he fills in on the things that I don't really understand. But we homeschool all 3 of our kids, and normally I am the taxi for them, pre-COVID, post-COVID, whatever it is. But
all the time, really.
Well, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But normally they're in sports and doing all these things, and I'm never home and he's never home. It's been really weird being home all the time, and here we are with our free time.
Right. You can see how crazy the extra time has made us because we're doing this.
Because we thought we already have our 2 separate businesses a piece, so 4 together, and we thought, why not just add to that?
Right. The more is more.
Yeah.
Or less is more. Or
I
something.
thrive in chaos.
Well, not me, but hopefully this isn't chaotic. Hopefully, as we release more episodes, I think like what this show is, or what this podcast is, you'll start to see a clearer picture of it, and it'll really start to come together. Because we don't necessarily have a common theme that's going to happen every single time, right?
It's going to be different.
Yeah, we're going to do some different stuff. Like sometimes we'll have come up with predetermined topics. Sometimes we'll have you guys suggest things and interact with us. Like we talked about, or she talked about, like we'll play games. We'll talk a little bit about like how we handle marriage and relationship problems, how we handle like parenting and stuff like that. Talk, like I said, how we feel about TikToks. I'm really excited to talk about the song WAP, but she doesn't want to.
Oh my god.
So who knows what's going to come.
I'm not saying I don't want to talk about it. I mean, people don't like it, but
right. But
we're not people.
Yeah, we're not people. Well, we are people. We are people.
We're not those people.
And who knows the kinds of things that we could talk about or do or go over in future episodes. But this one, like I said, was really just to get something out there so that people finding this for the very first time, whether you know us or not, you can get a little more familiar with the idea and the direction that this show is going to take. And like I said, the more we do it, the more it'll start to come together, and you'll really get a clear... You'll really start to see the vision that we have more clearly, because I don't know that either of us are doing a tremendous job of articulating it here today.
No, it's just going to be a random podcast full of fun crap.
So there's a... When you create like your podcast, it has you select categories.
Yeah. And
that was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do, because it's like, I don't really know what to put. So hopefully we're funny, because I put as the second category, I put comedy. But as the...
That's funny.
I got it, all right? But for the first category, there were a lot of like marriage and relationship things. But like I said, I think we'll talk about that almost surprisingly little for the name of the podcast, or like what we've said so far.
Yeah, you guys kind of just get to sit in on our weekly like date night where we talk and play games and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, just bullshit and waste time and really enjoy doing that with one another. Yeah. Because that is a big part of how we have fun, is just being silly.
And ragging on each other.
And ragging on each other.
We're like a bold married bickering couple.
But we'll do our best to kind of keep it entertaining, right? We won't rag on everything the other person says, I hope. I probably need to watch myself a little bit on that. But,
yeah.
But yeah, so this is going to be the Date Night Podcast. This is episode 1. We actually didn't talk about this, and I'm thinking about it right now, but most podcasts have a schedule. I was thinking maybe, say, every Monday morning you look for new episodes.
That works.
Okay, so you heard it. This is our commitment. This episode is coming out not on a Monday, but this is just kind of our dipping our toe in the water, or like I said, just trying to get that one piece out so that people finding it will have something to listen to, something that gives them an idea of what's going to come in future episodes. So
go follow us on Instagram.
Oh yeah, so again, I made a podcast. We also have an Instagram. It's at the Date Night Podcast. If you want to like keep up with this show, but you don't necessarily care about either of us individually, that's cool too.
Yeah, so we'll post a lot of different things on there. It'll be family, it'll be us, it'll be work, behind the scenes.
Memes.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of random stuff that's fun or, not fun.
The biggest benefit is that it's just one way, like I said, to keep up with the show. You see, like, we'll post obviously when we do new episodes.
Yeah.
We'll probably start going there in the future, especially as that account gets a little bigger for like Q&A participating. So if you want to ask us questions, follow us individually. That's going to be in the show notes. But if you want to follow the podcast, the Instagram for that, it's at the Date Night Podcast. Go to thedatenightpod.com.
Yep.
That is our website. That'll link you really everywhere, and we put a lot of time into it. We're really proud of it. So at minimum, it'd mean a lot to us if you could check it out.
Yeah.
And just see what we spent so much time on. But yeah, so check out the website, check out the Instagram. However you're listening to this episode, make sure that you're subscribed or signed up so that you see all the future episodes as they come out, like we just decided, every Monday morning. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. It's going to be short. I'm sure that they will get longer and longer as
Oh,
we
yeah.
get more comfortable, we get more ideas and information.
Yeah, and there will be some short episodes, but there will definitely be some long episodes, especially things we're passionate about and we go off on tangents.
Like WAP.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
so yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. We'll stop our little rambling. Please, please, please subscribe so that you can listen to every episode we upload in the future. Thank you all for listening to this very first episode, and we look forward to kind of chatting and hanging out with you guys every single week.
Yep. Bye, guys!